I'm Alan,
I'm Adrian.
and now it's your time for a little R&R.
Hello to our listener.
Don't believe me, just pulling up me and my friends. Big boy spins, just might start up a trend. You don't wanna go up against, no offense. Might wanna check on your lens. They know when this drop, everyone stop. Ain't no more room on top. This one can't be blocked. Give me my props. I'm really like that. Don't believe me, just watch.
All right.
Hi.
Well, hi. It's actually been like a month and a half.
Has it really been that long? Oh, I
Yeah.
get in such a time warp when the school
Well,
year
you were
starts.
here. You were here. It was the first couple days of August, and now it's September 14th.
So that was the last one we did was together?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I know. So that's kind of funny. It was like, well, then I started school like that next week, or the week after, whatever it was. It was quick.
Yeah,
And once school starts, like you said, it's just go, 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 go.
it is.
So we
I know
found
you
an
said,
hour.
don't worry, the summer will come fast. And I didn't
It
believe
always
but
does.
It's almost October.
Right. But it does. It comes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, then it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, and it's,
Yeah.
No, so it's like we had an hour, so it's like, all right, let's get that done.
Yeah, agreed.
Check
Agreed.
off the
In
list.
a great way.
Oh yeah, no, in a good way. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying in a like, all right, here's the day
We
that
have to do it now.
we
Yeah.
have this month.
Yeah.
Here's the day we have this month, and then
Yeah.
we'll try to get another one next month. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so today's like overall thing we talked about was going to be health, or
Mm-hmm.
is going to be health,
Right.
and being September 14th, I know when we post this, it will be like months from now,
Yeah.
probably 4-ish months from now.
Yeah.
In real time. But one of the things I had on my list was about mental health, not just physical, which we'll get into, but
Yeah.
mental health. So, and again, we're not going to get political. I'm not looking at any of that. With the assassination of Charlie Kirk on Wednesday, so just a few days ago, I was watching coverage of press briefings, just that kind of stuff. And the governor of Utah had said, did you watch that clip
Yeah.
by any chance? Okay.
Yeah.
But one thing that the governor of Utah had said, and it resonated with what I had written down anyway, and he was just talking about how social media and, just get off of it. The classic phrase of go touch grass,
Touch
be
grass.
with your family, go, get in the sunshine kind of thing. And, in the light of something so like heavy and tragic, and, his message is just to get off social media and go just be with your people and, get outside and get to nature. And I, again, thinking about all of that with mental health, I have my today's Sunday, so I had my garden yoga this morning, and just how much like I really look forward to that every week. And the weeks I can't go for whatever reason, just like how much it bothers me, like it affects me for the week. Like it sets me up. And the garden now is just amazing looking. Like it's just, everything's in bloom, and the way she's
Oh,
got,
really? In the fall? That's
she's got
interesting.
arches it's still summer kind of, but it's like she's got arches all the way around
Okay.
the sides that have things like on the dome part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even when you walk into the garden area to go to yoga, like you have to duck down because everything's all like viney. It's so cool.
Like you're crossing a threshold.
Right. It's,
Yeah.
it's seriously. And then she's got all of these flowers planted on the edges of the wood chips where we do yoga at. And there's just a bajillion butterflies and at least 4 or 5 hummingbirds just constantly in that area.
Oh, that's fun.
Like when we're doing shavasana, like at the end of yoga when you're just laying there, and they'll buzz over you. Like you can hear them.
Oh, cool.
Like if you stay still enough, like they'll buzz you. So, and Pearl has
Are they
said
different
that
colors and stuff? That's really hard to.
it's hard to see because obviously they fly so fast, but
Yeah.
you can kind of see there's one that's a little more greeny or bluey than the other ones.
Yeah.
But like if you lay still enough, they'll go across. And Pearl says, because she doesn't do shavasana, she's just talking through it,
Yeah.
And she said they're less than a foot over us when they come buzzing by. Like they're that close. Like it's just
Wow.
cool. So anyway, kind of thinking of that and like just finding those things that like, we'd talked about yoga before in another episode and,
right.
getting grounded and, with anxiety and all of
Right.
that. But like, I think it just took on a whole nother meaning with just disconnecting yourself from the onslaught of not even just information, but like onslaught of, I don't even want to say it's all negative. It's just heavy. Like it's just a lot,
I find the social media piece of things, and it's such a trite cliche, like, well, social media. I mean, you could talk about all kinds of angles and depths of that, but I find it to be ironically isolating when all people are doing are looking to connect.
Right. And clearly people
I
need
find
the
it so
connections because they
interesting.
are craving that because
Connection.
social media. Right.
It is
and
the
they're
complete
getting it.
opposite, right? So how is that
Yes.
possible?
Right.
You could be you could be interacting with millions of people
Mm-hmm.
by choice,
Right.
but you're still very much alone in it. So
Well,
what is that, you know?
The part that I had kind of thought about before all of this too was like I don't have any social media. I mean, I say that in the fact that I don't have any personal things for myself. I don't have a Facebook, I don't have an Instagram, I don't have any of that. I'm on X, and I really only go on X for news.
Mm-hmm.
So like I go there because I know I can get the articles and things that matter to me by people that I trust. So I'm seeking out the content myself, if that makes sense. But it's not me. It's not like, I mean, yes, it's my personal account, but I'm not there posting pictures or, I'm not doing
I'm the same.
social part with it.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And I know we had talked about that with doing this. Like, we don't have any presence online, really.
Intentional,
unless,
yeah.
Right, no,
Right, well,
exactly.
I'm sure
As I was
we're
saying,
there.
right, we don't have
Yeah.
any presence online, and
Right.
we're like, well, if you actually wanted to do something with this, we're going to have to kind of have a little bit of a presence online because that's it.
Right.
That's just how things work, but personally, like, there's nothing there, and which is, again, how I keep it that way. Like, I always say, like, now I'm 8.5 years Facebook free, and I want to keep it that way.
I thought you were
Like
going to say sober. Like, that's another marker. But
that's 5 years.
Yeah.
That's 5
Yeah,
years
okay.
sober
Okay.
at 8.5 years Facebook.
Start
That's what
with
I mean.
Facebook.
No, but that's what I'm
Then-
saying. Like,
yeah.
but that's how it feels. Like you feel like you cut off an addiction.
Yeah. Yep.
Like when I started to realize too that like I only knew what people were doing based on what I saw they post on Facebook. I was like, I don't really actually know this person anymore. Like what am I doing? Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
I talk to the few people I actually talk to and know what's going on in their lives, and then
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so that I kind of connected that whole thing to that. So something that's what I wanted to mention too about social media and getting off of it, because like when I you get on X and like I saw the assassination video. Have you seen it?
No. I saw the one far away shot, and that was it.
Okay, so like I unfortunately saw the far away and the very, very close up one that's like right there. And like I'm just scrolling and then there it is. And I'm like it just plays automatically, like the way the feed goes. You know what I mean? It's not like you click on it to play. It just plays. And then it's like on a loop. And I'm like, you couldn't, like you just keep scrolling, but like you cannot get that out of your head. Like that's
Jeff said that too. I mean, I think unfortunately like saw it less unintentionally. It was like he sought it out, but it was just everywhere. And
well, he said somebody sent him a link, which again, okay, you're just clicking on a link of somebody sent you and you,
right.
but that's what it is. And then
Yeah.
connected to that Ukrainian woman that got slaughtered on that train.
Yeah.
That whole video is out now.
Yep.
And I
it
saw
is.
that too. Yeah. And like I kept thinking in my head, and I was talking to Dad about this because I'm like, I'm not desensitized to those types of things. Like I know some people are like, what, I just keep scrolling, like it doesn't affect you. And I'm like, I can't.
Yep.
And he's like, well, it reminds me of like JFK. Obviously, we weren't alive during that time.
That's been referenced a lot. People that there was a point in time that like there's that and then there's now. Like there's nothing in between that
Right.
you can compare. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was
Public assassination. Yeah.
correct, public,
Yeah, yeah.
and
That was recorded actually at that time, which is a rare thing.
but I told him, I said, so, okay, even if they were doing a live feed on the news of JFK's parade that day, right? You turn that off and that's it. It's gone. You don't see it. Like, you may have been watching it and you may have seen it, but you didn't process it necessarily. It cut off. Like, that was it. That was done. And it's not being replayed over and over and over again on your phone on an incessant loop without your consent. I'm thinking that I'm going, I don't know how you get to this point, where like I was not asking to watch that video. Like it just happened to pop up because that was the news, and I'm like, how is this the news though? Like, can we talk about it without having that be, because like these two incidents back to back like this, I mean, brutal, like viciously, I can't even.
We talk
Just
about
the
AI
visuals
and all
of it.
that. I don't even remotely understand it, but about being unable to now harness it and control it, because it's not like you could tell a company or a human to say, okay, stop posting these things, whatever it is, innocuous, mundane, or something life-changing. You don't say, okay, go to this place and tell Facebook to stop. because it is so exponential. It's
Right.
out of control.
But like, is there a point where it has to be like, that is like too graphic, too far? Like, that's too much.
But how do you get it back? You don't get it
Right.
back.
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Again,
It almost
like,
has to be a
and
complete
that's right.
fast of
Right. That's what I mean.
the world. The whole world would have to fast and everything shut down. And I don't think even then, because everything's still stored. I don't know the answer. I'm not smart enough to.
No, I'm not. I don't know either. But it's another piece of social media and instant
Mayhem.
information, instant. That's like, I see that, I interpret it one way, whatever, and then I'm thinking too about Brody on YouTube. Like, like, is that video gonna pop up on his YouTube? Probably.
I'm sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
it's just
and
like
a 10-year-old is probably curious in ways, obviously, that an adult that
Correct.
there's like I put parameters on myself to try to avoid it, and he's probably curious because he's 10.
right,
and
right,
doesn't understand the ramifications. So
right. Because we talked about it in a way that you talk about it with a 10-year-old.
yeah.
But I had said, I said, if you do want to see anything about him, search up his debates. Like, look at that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like, look at
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Look at his content. Go to his website. Don't like search out this part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
To try to, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, there's nothing else you can do. So,
No.
but
No.
yeah. So that, I thought, again, his Governor Spencer Cox, I think is his name, the Utah governor.
Yeah. That sounds
I'm pretty
right.
sure that was his name. Anyway, but his message on that press briefing was just like, again, just reset, get off of all that, just be with your people, get into nature. So I
Because
thought it was
you could say a lot of things in that moment. You could say a lot of wrong things. You could say a lot of right things. You could
100%.
say controversial things. You could say nothing.
yes,
So he chose that was what he chose, and it resonated
Yes.
with a lot of people. I think, based on reaction, which is if there's any word to this, is like redeeming in a way that there was a lot of like light around that people were happy about.
Yes.
That it was kind of presented that way, not happy, but
no, I know what you mean.
connected with it.
Connected, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right. So health. I don't know how much we want to bounce all over the place. 'Cause I'm sure you have a lot more
go
to
ahead.
say. But like, right. So I thought of like how different. I don't like this. I guess this doesn't transition very well. But the different types of health, right? Mental, physical, emotional, and then the
That's
health,
right. We talked about mental.
right. But the health of family and friend ailments or whatever afflictions that affect you also, right? So there's kind of like this residual health when people around you are sick or having struggles in minor or major, and then there's your own mental emotional well-being. We could take this in a lot of different directions about what we've experienced, but I agree. I did types, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I broke it down
yeah.
into types too.
All I had was just mental and physical, and just from my own personal experience, So I hadn't thought about it like other people's, but that's an interesting angle, though, too.
Right. And my tendency to put things in categories made me think about how you have the type of health things that are either all-consuming, where it's something that makes you have to pay attention to it now, the here and now, immediately. Nothing else can infiltrate it, right? You have to be like that, kind of like what you're probably going to talk about your,
Yeah.
about your situation, or nothing, and you have to give it its due. You have to give it its immediate attention right now, or things could escalate.
Yep.
Or you have the kind of health concern, mental, physical, emotional, whatever. You can kind of function. Life can kind of happen alongside it. So you have
Right.
like the immediate here and now, where nothing else matters around it, and you have to be hyper focused. Or you have the health concern where it's kind of happening in like this orb around you. Or you have the type that's just minor that affects you, but you can clearly still function and it's easily solvable. Or so that's where I kind of put my thoughts into, and then kind of went from there in terms of notes and things. But
Okay, what'd you put about mental health then, since we talked about some of that, like for me at least?
for me personally,
Yeah, did you put anything like about that, or just thought about that's how you kind of categorize what they
that's
are?
just how I categorized our conversation about where things would go. But I think my mental health was clearly reflected in the first episode about how I try to keep myself in check. So that was all mental. I mean, there were physical things that were related to the questions that I try to have on a daily basis.
Yeah, and
Achieved.
mental is the right word.
But yes, right. But it did go back to, okay, so what are those questions about? It's about having the foundations of the little things, the water, the heat, the eating, the sleep, the whatever.
Right.
And then you can kind of deal with the major stuff, right? So I
Right.
think that's what I was saying about that.
Yeah.
You need those things at least intact to be able to then face whatever, come what may, you know?
Right. Thinking about, I guess, not switching it to physical health, but
Yeah.
like the mental health part that goes with when you're dealing with physical health issues
Yes.
too.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
having
totally.
to keep
Yep.
your focus, like you said, sometimes it's like you're hyper focused on what you're doing in that moment, so you don't have, I don't mean you have time to think about it, but you don't have time to process necessarily what's going on, or
Yeah.
like everything is, all of your energy is focused on that.
Yep.
Keeping your
The mental health with physical that comes alongside it.
Okay. So I think for me, at least, like I'm a person that's like I'll go to the doctor to get checked on before anything's even wrong. Like not in a hypochondriac kind of way, but like a preventative.
And then I tell them what's wrong, and then
Yes, and then I say I saw this commercial about this
based
medication.
on the commercials. Yeah.
Yeah, this commercial that I saw
I
that
think
I
Abilify
think I
would be
need
great
this
for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I really think I need this and this and this.
Yeah.
Because I definitely have all of those things. But no, I mean in like a preventative way.
Yes.
And it's funny because like I remember I'd go to like, you know, you get a cold, you get a this, like I'd go to walk-in care. And you don't have to have a primary doctor because it's so much easier just to go to walk-in care. You don't have to make an appointment. You don't have, because sometimes appointments are, the cold's already gone by the time you can get in, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So I started going.
Yeah.
Right. So I started going to walk-in care, and I remember I went to walk-in care one time, and they were like, well, who's your primary? So I'd always say who my primary was before, you know, like who I used to have. And they're like, oh, well, I don't see you in there anymore. He must have kicked you out. I'm like, what do you mean he kicked me out? They're like, well, if you don't go for a certain amount of time, they just kind of like drop you.
How long did you wait to go?
No,
What's
it was
that
like,
amount of
no,
time?
it's not that I didn't. It's not that I didn't go. It was just that I always went to walk-in care for stuff. Like I didn't go to my primary. I didn't have a reason at the time to go to my primary for anything, so I didn't need to check in with them. You know, like there was no like I didn't need a physical for school or shots or something. You know what I mean? Like it was just
Like
just
no
went.
warning, no consultation.
I think it was like 10 years. I think it was like 10 years. I hadn't
was
gone
it
to the
10 years? I was going to say like some random number.
It was 10 years. I think was I hadn't been to my primary, which was a good thing. I thought I was like, well, that's I must be pretty healthy.
Yeah, keep me on board.
Just-
I'm low maintenance. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I thought I was a good patient, but that I don't show up for 10 years, so whatever. So he dropped me, and it's fine. He ended up retiring later, a few years later anyway, so it's fine.
Because
But
he kept
it just-
dropping
it got me to-
patients.
If he just kept
I mean, you should
everybody on
just,
his
you're right,
caseload,
you're
then
right.
he'd be
You have
fine.
no practice now.
So anyway, but I would still go, you know what I mean? Like when
Yeah.
I needed to, I'd go to the doctor. I have no problem going to the doctor. Like that stuff doesn't
Yeah,
bother
yeah.
me. So like going to, like back to before I had Brody, like getting pregnant was super difficult. Like it was almost a year,
Yeah.
until finally got pregnant. And I know you had gone through
Yeah.
this too, but that procedure, do you remember the name of the procedure
IUI?
when they had to like, yeah, it must have been. What do you remember what it stood for? I couldn't remember. It doesn't matter.
I think
It's not
there's a uterine in
immediately
there
important.
somewhere. Uterine.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some kind of uterus in there. Uterine invasion is what I want to say.
But there should be a
Because,
violation of interuterine.
oh, yes, code of conduct. It was brutal. I
Oh,
mean, like,
Well, yours was
like,
pain. I mean, you were in pain.
I mean, yes, like I'll never forget, like I was at the hospital and my OBGYN doctor was there because he was the one doing it. It wasn't in the office, it was at the hospital. And there was a nurse that was there with me, and she got there and was talking to me about it, and she's like, well, I've had this done,
the
I had to
testing?
have this done. No, not the
The
testing.
actual procedure.
Shoot the stuff in your tubes
Okay.
procedure.
No, okay. I was
Yes.
gonna say that other test that you warned me about was also terrible. That was the but
Right.
Go ahead.
I think, well, then maybe we're talking about the same thing. I wish I could
The
remember
one
the
where
name
they're
of it, but-
checking your innards, or the one where you actually they do it.
Yes, when you have the scanner over your body while they inject the stuff with you. Let me finish
ahead.
my story and then maybe it'll come to you.
HGA.
So
Go ahead.
she comes in and she's telling me, oh, I had to have this done. I had trouble getting pregnant, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, oh, okay. And I just said something about if it, she said, well, it should, like, it burns or it hurts or, like, she did say a little bit, but I was thinking,
Yeah,
like,
uh-huh.
whatever. I can handle it. Crampy, right. I can handle
Yeah.
it. It's fine. Not a big deal. And so the doctor comes in, gets you all set. And again, if you haven't had this before, they, like, it's like an x-ray machine over, it's not an x-ray, would be like almost like a CT scan probably, right? Something like that. Like over your
Yeah.
body so they can see it right when it's happening.
Yes.
So they inject the dye.
Yes.
It's like injecting, like,
Yes.
iodine so they can see it, the contrast. So injects it. I mean, and we're talking up, like, into your tubes, like into your fallopian tubes. I feel like I could feel
Yeah.
every single part of that
Yeah.
my body in there Like it was one of the worst. I remember swearing like a trucker, and like my poor OBGYN, it was quick, but like it was like one of those where I felt every second of it, like every single second. And then he's like, okay, it's done. Like, sorry about that. Like, I'm like, no, you don't know what this is like, man. Like you man with your man parts. You don't know anything about this. So come to find out everything was fine after all that. Like there was no blockages, no nothing, but like that was supposed to open everything up to help you get pregnant. Yeah. Well, it was HGA.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think I just blocked it out just so I didn't have to think about it.
You blocked it out when you were unblocked.
Right. You know what the funny part is, though? That was the same day that I went to the Justin Timberlake concert. So it was like a very high reward.
I made that up. HSG. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's called HSG. Hysterosalpin.
Whatever. It was terrible. So
before in vitro to
anybody's
examine.
Listening and actually went to that. Well, but I didn't do in vitro. I mean, you can talk about that. I didn't do in vitro.
Fallopian tubes. Yeah, for blockages or abnormalities. Yeah. Well, I did that one too, HSG.
Oh.
I don't know what HGA is.
Yeah, so
option.
Human growth hormone. Oh, that's H.
We are not qualified to have this episode.
No, we don't have zero medical knowledge.
Please don't take our advice in any direction.
No, don't go tell your doctor of any of this because
any human growth hormone.
Nothing is FDA approved.
Yeah, right. And there's no FDA.
FDA. But anyway, so then, like I said, I went to the Justin Timberlake concert that night, so it was like worth it, like, okay, I went through that, now I get to go to this, but it was, I mean,
used to buy myself a CD.
It was brutal.
When I would have my OB appointment.
Just like your annual appointment.
Yeah, because you just feel so violated that you...
Well, what do you do now? Because there's no CDs anymore.
I
download an album.
I think I hype it up a little less now because I've been through so many other invasive procedures that...
Yep. That's funny because I had that exact same thought in my head. Like, I was like, this ain't nothing. Well, I think especially after you have a kid, and I think a lot of women relate to this, that like there's no shame in anything anymore after that. It's like you're really just like, all right, here's all my biz. Tell me what's going on. Like it's just... I
also feel like you're cut out. I think there's some chemical connection to this. Again, don't take any of this advice, but I think there's something that is produced in mothers that allows you to have some sort of pain tolerance. I don't know the connection. I don't know the word. I don't know if it's... I don't know. I don't even want to say a hormone.
Well, because if well, we just talked. I mean, I'd heard this somewhere else because, like, if people remembered how bad it was, where did I hear this?
It's kind of like running a marathon.
I heard it, but like, if you remembered how bad it was, nobody would have the second one. Everybody would have one child, and that'd be done. And you'd never go back. But like, it's the outcome. Oh, it was Scott Adams. He was talking about how to turn yourself from being a lazy person to being not lazy. He said you always think of the outcome. He goes, you kind of work backwards. Like, think of what this gets you. And the time and effort to put into it is, like, minimal. Not giving birth, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, like, anything in general. Think of the outcome. Like, what will it be like when I do this thing, as opposed to me just sitting here thinking about it, Anyway, that was his point. He goes, why do women have more than one child? Having a kid is not an easy process. It's almost a year-long thing that you go through. Yeah. So, like, why would anybody keep putting
a year if you're lucky?
That? It's like, because,
that's
because
like
you get
minimum.
Because you get a kid out of it. That's what I mean. It's at least a year, So,
yeah, if you're lucky.
And then you get a kid out of it. Oh, that's the...
Yeah, I had that same reaction from the doctor about they to do is it a spinal tap? Again, we should have been more prepared with terminology before this.
Oh, no, I mean, it's very casual. So, I mean, it's
they
just...
inject into your spine before you have a C-section?
Oh, well, I got mine after I was knocked out because I was going to go through that process.
Yeah, they're just like, okay. And I remember people saying...
Epidural.
Thank you, epidural. And they're like, hunch over and blah, 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 and it was terrible. But it didn't... I just remember, like, okay, I know what's coming, so I don't think I'm even thinking about whatever you're about to do to my spine, so here we go, And I know you and I have both had similar experiences where doctors have told us, wow, like, you just breezed through that. How did you just... I don't know. I just put myself in a, like, mental state that...
Almost every time I've had something done.
Terrible things,
wow.
too. Like, wow, how people don't react like that.
But I was going to say, how else am I supposed to react? When am I supposed to, like scream like a banshee? I don't know. Like, is that appropriate?
Well, I go back to when I was 4, and I still have a very vivid memory of running around the doctor's office because they were going to give me a shot in my thigh, and Mom was chasing me around the office, and that's where things started. And I think I've evolved from there, which has been nice to think about.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that is good.
Yeah, so I didn't.
40 years later,
possible adult reactions you could run around the office.
I guess so. Maybe I should try that the next time I got to get something done and just like start like throwing a tantrum or like see what happens. Like, oh, wow, that's how everybody
Yeah,
reacts.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
okay.
don't
Like,
worry.
you know, I
We've
want,
seen this.
yeah, we've seen, yeah, this is nothing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just like all those moments you just try to. I'm just going to be an adult. Like I've been through this before, even though this is a very terrible, horrendous thing.
Well, and maybe that goes to that mental health thing. Like when you're going through something physical, you just kind of,
yeah,
you know, compartmentalize in
Yeah.
your brain about what you have to get through. And okay, well, it's not that I'm not going to do this, so I have to do it. So I better just do it,
Right.
like, get through it.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
Well, I think that's how you reacted. You know, you could speak for yourself, but that's how you reacted when you had your major surgery. It was
Yeah.
so the turnaround was so quick. It was the diagnosis at the end of January. The surgery was what, 3
Yeah.
weeks
Well,
later?
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
talk about it. So, all right, so this was January of 24.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it was just my annual. Actually, I'll back up a couple weeks. I go to my OBGYN, like, right now it's got December because it's over Christmas break, so I have time to go do these doctor's appointments, you know. Because a lot of times they're not open, or they're only open an hour after school's out or whatever, so I have to do them when I have breaks. Anyway,
Right.
so went to my annual appointment, and I'd had genetic testing. Oh, man, it's probably 2020, I think, was when I got genetic testing. Because of Auntie Sue. Oh, a little background. Auntie Sue had metastatic breast cancer, but she had breast cancer originally when she was 49.
early.
And then it metastasized when she
60.
was 67.
Yeah. So, yep. Right.
Oh, no, 65 or
Right.
something.
It was like
65. I think she was 3 more years before
Yeah.
she passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Magical number of 68. Anyway, so the reason I'd gotten the genetic testing was because of her. It's just talking about that. So I'd gotten the genetic testing because of her to see if I was predisposed to that. And actually, I didn't have the BRCA
Yeah.
gene.
I got the same.
I
process.
have the ATM, right? But I have the ATM, which is actually for colon cancer, ironically. And anyway, so I went, and my OBGYN told me to start getting mammograms young. So, like, I wouldn't even have had one yet because I'm going to be 40 in November. Like, this is usually the year that you get that. I'd started getting them at 35. So, because I had to get the special paperwork and the stuff because the insurance and, you know, all the hoops. So, had to have this is the reason why I'm doing this. My doctor's signing off on it, yada, yada, yada. So, those appointments are like January of Christmas break, which is always fun. So, I just have all of my fun appointments, you know, over Christmas break. Merry Christmas. So, had that appointment. And I will say, I do need to give a shout out because the people that are at the hospital here, the lady that does the mammograms is like the best lady ever. Like, she's so... You've had one, obviously, but like she is amazing. Like, she was just like so, and I obviously had been going to her for a few years at that point, and you know, she'd always comment, "Oh, you're so young," and you know, all this, you know, every time we're in there or whatever. But she was just like a nice lady, like made it a comfortable experience.
It
So
was a big difference.
I will say, if anybody, it does, and I will say anybody who hasn't had one, if you're going to get one, just, you know, if you're where I live, then going to the hospital here is
Someone nice.
she's
Let's
excellent.
go back
Yeah,
to that.
no,
That
she's
person
excellent.
matters later. The person that cares for
Yeah,
you. Go ahead.
yeah. And I was I made a note about that too. Anyway, so got the mammogram, and then again, they'll call and tell you if there's anything that you need. A couple days later, you know, they're like, "Oh, we saw something kind of, you know, whatever." And you know, I had kind of larger boobs, so like having dense tissue wasn't a surprise. You know what I mean? That had happened on all of mine, so having dense tissue wasn't really a thing. But I was like, all right, we'll come back in. They wanted to redo the mammogram, so redo the mammogram. Then they're like, nah, something's still not looking right. So then they're like, we need to find this. This is a mass in there. We got a biopsy. They were gonna do it that day. This is also another thing about the people at the hospital. They were like, we're here. The lady the guy who does the biopsies with his nurse and everything are here. Like, let's get it done. They just couldn't get in contact with somebody, so I had to go back. But the fact that they were like willing to do that because I was there already was also,
Yeah.
you know, like they were trying to make it convenient
Yeah.
for me as best
Yeah.
they could, which was nice. Anyway, so they like were super apologetic. I'm like, it's fine, not a big deal. I go back, get the biopsy, and this was all done in a certain hospital group, and then I'll tell you about all that too. So I had to get the biopsy. Got a couple days. It was probably 4 days later, something like that. It was a real quick turnaround. Got a call from a lady and said that it was cancer, and she, again, I'd never met this woman before. You know, she's got to call and tell me this. Like, after I'd gotten the phone call, I'm thinking back to this woman, and I'm like, this is her job, you know, and obviously she can call people and say, oh, everything's all good. Like, she'll have those kind of phone calls, you know, but she probably is making more of these kind of phone calls. And the type of person you have to be to delay or to deliver this information to someone you've never met that you don't, I mean, you know nothing about them except what you're reading off of this paper. Like, and you have to make it so it's like a friend, like you're talking to a friend, delivering this news. And she just kept saying, okay, do you have right after she told me, I mean, she said it right away, which I appreciated too. She didn't try to like dance around and give me numbers, give me names of things we clearly can't remember anyway, but like, medical terms and whatnot, Yeah. And she was like, okay, do you have a piece of paper and something to write down? She goes, because it's going to be a lot of information, so I want to go through it slow. So like, again, took the time to like so I could write everything down. She didn't just blah, 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 here it is. Like I was another checklist phone call for her to make, I still never met that woman, but she was unbelievable. Same like the guy who did the biopsy and the nurse that was with him that did the biopsy. We were talking about stuff and just like making casual conversation about her kids and about this. And it was like, again, the most comfortable thing in a really uncomfortable situation. That same day, so this is like mid-January now, I get a call from my OBGYN because he had gotten the information from probably when I got my mammogram and they got the results sent over, and then other things kept happening, so he had to be in on the loop and was like almost in tears when he's talking to me. He's like, you're so young and I can't believe this, and we'll get it taken care of. He's like, here is the number for a friend of mine who's the general surgeon that I want him to do. I want him to take a look at all these scans. I want him to be the one to talk to you about everything. I'm like, okay. Like called me from his cell phone, you know what I mean? To have that, which was just amazing. So got in touch with that guy. Again, another local guy, which is, I like to, so he knows the area, whatever. Met with him. He, too, was same thing, like very personable, the whole situation. Anyway, went through all my options, found out especially because genetics and the rapid rate at which it was invasive ductal carcinoma, so like the fact that it could spread quickly. He just gave me some options, which we'll get into in a second, but like the bilateral mastectomy was obviously what I went with. So, and then that was done in mid-February. From beginning of January to mid-February, all those tests, all that stuff, diagnosis, doctors, this, surgery, done.
I think from the diagnosis
within a month and a half
to surgery, I want to say a month most.
Right. It was like January 3rd or something. Like it was towards the end of January, and then my surgery was February 19th.
Yes. I remember the night. Yeah. I remember February 23rd. Those were the two things I had made, but I wasn't sure if I was clear. Right. So it wasn't even a month. And
not even a month. No.
I mean, you really expedited your processing of that. You had to figure out what you wanted to do because, I mean, I'm not going to speak for you, but it was a very, but it was a very quick choice to have to make. That was, arguably
they still
life-altering.
did other tests to be able to.
I mean, there's no question about it. Whether
100%.
However you feel about doing something like that, or what the function of, having a surgery like that or not, but the risk was just too high.
Well, and that's the other thing I was going to talk about is that I had the choice just to do a lumpectomy, just take that part out, but I'd still have to have mammograms. I'd still have to go through all that, and chances of it coming back are whatever the chances of it are coming back. I don't know what that chance would be, but in my mind I'm thinking, why would I do that to myself? Like why would I? Because the anticipation of going through all of that from one day to the next. Am I going to get a phone call that I'm going to need radiation? Because I didn't need radiation, which was unbelievable. I didn't have to have chemo. I didn't have to have any of that. But like the feeling of like just waiting for the next thing. Like, how could I do that to myself? Like, how could I choose that for myself? So every year when I go get this mammogram, I'm just hoping that it's nothing. Obviously you hope it's nothing every time you go. But, like, now I've got a chance to not have that again, So, and then this was the entertaining part of it also. Right when I found out I was going to get the bilateral mastectomy, you have the choice. And this was funny because when I was writing down my notes, I could not remember the word of what it is when you get the implants. Hold on, I'll show you what I wrote down. Restoration, that wasn't it. Refurbishment, also not it. Remember, I was like, I know it's the rebuilding of something, but those two words were not it.
Okay, so the end of my whole thing, there's the word regeneration. That's not it either.
Nope, because I'm not a starfish.
I wrote down starfish for the end of this. So
I'm not a starfish, and it's probably a good thing that you can't just chop parts off and they grow back. That's probably
like a really malicious society.
No, I put restoration.
Society.
Yes, restoration and refurbishment. And I was like, no, that's still not it. Like,
well, depends on how you look at it.
kind of is. Right. Well, I was like, well, those words mean kind of the same thing, but that's still not it. It's reconstruction.
Okay.
Is the word I finally came
much
up
more
with.
mechanical
and I think
and,
correct. Which I think refurbishment should be better.
Yeah.
Or restoration, I think, is also
that
good. I think
hopeful.
both of those were good options, right? Right? We're going to restore
It's like
what your body used
like
to
a
look
light
like.
around it.
But here's the part with that. So it's still funny because I say to my 2 male doctors that I don't want reconstruction. I want nothing to do with it. I'm like, they told me they'd have to keep some skin or some.
Oh, there's so many graphic details. It's like
No, but hold on. I'm going to get into some of it, but like, so you'd have to still go get mammograms. This was my point
because
with that.
there's like 10%
so I was like,
still,
I
right?
have to.
Yeah.
Right. So there's still some
Right.
tissue,
Right.
So there's a chance that it could spread or it could have something there, whatever. So they'd have to keep that, and I'd have to still go get mammograms. The surgery for reconstruction was like there was a couple options, but one of them was like another 10-hour surgery, which was more than what the mastectomy surgery was. Bilateral mastectomy, both, not just one, both. It was like a 4-hour surgery, whatever it was. It's going to be a 10-hour surgery, and then like if I had to have radiation or chemo or anything, like they couldn't, inflate the implants until like later when everything's recovered. So again, I know you haven't had this kind of a surgery before, but like you have to have drains in. Okay. So if anybody has had to have drains, like it's like, thank God for Ken, because he was the one who did all of my drains, which is, I mean, like, I don't know. It's really hard to do yourself, first of all. And then like, I don't know.
Oh, I would have to hire a nurse. There's no way. I would have to hire somebody. Yeah, no way.
That experience was awful, no. Like I will say, but he did it all. Like he would get up with me and do it when I needed to do it, and like, I mean, it was crazy because you have to. This is great. After you do all the drain stuff, you got to measure the output.
I remember that. Yeah.
Obviously, because they want to see. I mean, it's all medical, the purpose of it, and you got to record it and got to get down to a certain number. But anyway, there was going to have to be 4 drains instead of 2 if you did the reconstruction. That right there is a deal breaker, But anyway, so I say this to both of my male doctors. They're like, well, why don't you just go to the consultation? I said, because I know I don't need it. I don't need a consultation. I already have my mind made up. Like, I'm not like being mental about it. I'm not like, not accepting reality. I'm not, whatever. I'm like, they're boobs. I don't need them. Like, they're just extra at this point. They're just, it's not even like losing a limb or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need it. No, just insisted. Just go to the consultation. They're like, they kept saying, well, it's free. I don't care how much it costs. Like, it's not like I'm worried about billing insurance. I'm like, I don't need it. So fine. I was like, whatever, guys, fine, I'll go. So they talked me into it. So I brought Mom with me, of course, because I had to. She came to all my appointments with me, but she came to this appointment with me. We are looking at the photos of this guy's work. Okay. So have you ever met with a plastic surgeon before? Okay, it's a surreal experience because like it's very
surreal?
like surreal, surreal.
It's kind of surreal also.
It is, but it feels like they're like, oh, you could do maybe we could do a little tuck here, a little adjustment, a little, like it feels like they're like sizing you up. Anyway, he was a nice guy. It was just so he's going through the options, and I'm looking at these. He's like scrolling through on his iPad, and now these doctors don't show you the worst, right? They show you their best work. And I'm not saying this wasn't, like, good work. I mean, I guess it was. But, like, nothing on there looked like a human woman. Like, I was like, there is nothing on here. I'm like, who? And people chose to do this to themselves. I just can't. I don't get it. Like, I was like, I have no idea. Well, I mean, I do, I guess. But
right.
Maybe vanity wins for some people. I'm not sure, or whatever. But because there's nothing functional about them once you go through this surgery. So the function of them is gone. So even if you're like under that mindset, like, oh, I need to, there is no function.
Yes.
So they are purely
aesthetic.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And no, so the mastectomy shop, which is actually out of Florida, will give you $10 inserts for your bras that are doing okay for me right now. That's, no 10-hour surgeries. They had to go through.
I know.
They would have to connect
I know.
every blood vessel. I'm telling you again. They have to connect every blood vessel to make it, like, obviously viable, so, like, the tissue connects. But it's Frankenstein, man. I mean, it's Frankenstein. Like, I was like, no, I cannot. Oh, and then they said, too, if you don't have enough viable tissue, we'll use cadaver tissue. I'm thinking, even more Frankenstein. Like, I don't want some dead woman's boobs. Like, I can't. Like, no. Like, this is not. That's not an organ donation. Like this is not like I need a heart.
It's not. I don't know. It's not really a moral choice. I don't even know what word to label it as. So I'm going to move on from that. But it's a choice that all I remember is you're in a very vulnerable situation to begin with. You're making a very life-changing, life-altering choice. And then the fact that now this was layered on, that there could be, all these different angles of things that could go wrong in a surgery that you're electing to do. You had to really figure out the risk reward here. And so 1,000 other things could go wrong. And then I could be dealing with stuff even post, because there's like all the risks of like deflation or not taking of the tissue or the whatever, while I'm also having cancer.
Yes.
Or the potential of cancer coming back.
I was saying, and then I'm thinking, okay, so next year's mammogram, there's cancer. What, you just start all over again?
Yeah.
Like, couldn't you, like, why would you put your body through that?
But you have to process that. You had to process that, and obviously a lot of people in this situation often do. You have to process it very quickly. Almost inhumanly, unhumanly, I don't know what the word is. You have to kind of go out of this like out of body moment where you're trying to think for yourself. But at the same time, like, when you're in this
I knew instantly, though. I knew instantly.
I know.
Like, when they said bilateral mastectomy, I was like,
I'm not even going to comment about going through something like that. I just know in like all other situations in life, I'm very indecisive. Well, again, I'm very indecisive. So you're a straight shooter as far as that stuff goes. Like, you didn't veer. It was like a courtesy for you to go to that appointment to the male doctors.
It was, and I'm a courtesy for who? Well, I guess Mom and I got a good laugh out of it. We were dying when we left. We were just like cracking up. We're like, that was the best he could show us. I can't even imagine. We're like, it was so disturbing. We're laughing. We're crying, laughing. Of course, Dad was in the car, because he drove us to all the appointments. Didn't go into anything, of course. Not that I would want him to or expect him to, but he drove us, and then we'd get back in the car. We're trying to tell him this whole thing. We were just dying. I mean, it was just like, you would not believe. It was just crazy. And again, I'm sure he does.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
He was driving, talking to people, would drive in and whatever, but I'm sure, and again, I'm sure it was beautiful work. I would imagine
Picasso level.
That's yes, exactly. I'm sure, but not for me. It's just not for me. Yeah, cubism. Yeah, yes,
not those things where you could really tell what was on the picture, but yeah.
Nope. I mean, some of his cubists do have those parts as parts, and they had more parts as parts to them
like that
than those fake ones I saw. So.
Maybe that's what they should just to lighten the mood. They should have these plastic surgeons' office. They should have
as they're
Picasso
scrolling
paintings, like just in the middle. Like,
yes,
how about
in the middle of it? Like, oh, here's this choice. Here's this choice,
this.
And how about this one?
Construct this. I mean, the options are endless. Here.
It really is.
Color,
really is.
shape,
I mean,
size.
It's not a fantastic time to troll people. Like, it's really not. But
no.
Humorous. I mean, nonetheless, I would have appreciated a good Picasso joke.
It's hard. I would imagine to go in there somber when you're dealing with something that, in my opinion, is incredibly uncomfortable. Like, also, I know this is their daily life.
Yes.
So be it.
Well, and like at that point too, obviously I hadn't had the surgery, so like that was the weird part for me, was like knowing, like, this is the other point I'll make. I felt nothing, no symptoms, no pain, no.
Oh, before
like, I
it was
couldn't
diagnosed,
feel it.
Right.
But even after, I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like I have cancer, and like, and I get to the point where I'm like, did I have cancer? Like, it was because you can't. Like I said, no symptoms, no nothing, no pain, no nothing out of the ordinary at all. All of these appointments were routine appointments. Yep. They were just normal. And I remember going back, because the physician's assistant, who I have now, you knew her in high school.
Yes,
I'm not going to say who she is, and she was actually the one that saved Brody's life in the hospital. So she's kind of saved me in all kinds of ways, which is funny.
Like, cycle
kind
back,
of comes around. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but she was my OBGYN appointment that I had before I went to that mammogram. And when I saw her the next year, she was like beside herself. Did I miss something? I mean, she was like second guessing herself,
Well, that's also a small time local thing too, that you're going to take it way more personally. It's an upside down.
You see this person every day.
Right. Yeah. Their family.
Yeah.
You've known them for years,
Right. Well, and that goes to the having no shame thing, because like I know her outside of that, and she still see all my parts as parts, and it's like, okay, well, that just is what it is, Like we just have casual conversations while all of that's going on.
Which is the professionalism on her part, because it's just
correct,
what she
right?
does. Yeah.
Right. She's not going to pretend like we don't know each other, whatever. Anyway, so no, but it was that, it was just routine appointments. I wasn't seeking anything out. Like going back to like I go to the doctor, I go to the doctor to get checkups. I go to check things out, and like I had shared my story with the people I work with, so rumors didn't spread. First of all, like so I didn't tell somebody, and then it got to things because school environments it happens.
With your email, like here's what's going on.
Yes, I mean, but I had to be, because like I wanted to be the one to say it. Like I wanted to be the one to give the information. It wasn't like I was looking for sympathy. I wasn't looking for anybody to be like whatever, but like I did have kind of in the back of my head like, okay, I'm going to tell my little piece of this story to all these people that I work with. Again, mostly women. There's a handful of men, but mostly women. Like, go get your stuff done. Like go to your appointments, go to those preventative things, because like again, I had zero symptoms, and within a month I had no more boobs because of cancer. Like I had cancer, had no idea. Like I would like to know, like I don't think I'll ever know this, like how long would it have been into my body if I hadn't been doing those appointments? Let's say this year was my first mammogram. Would I have had any symptoms before now, or would it just kept growing in my body and I had no idea?
Yeah, and
it's bizarre.
Obviously there's stats and stuff that they could have predicted, but they did know when they found it that the potential of it to spread.
Well, so when they go and they take lymph nodes out of your armpit during surgery, so they have your sentinel lymph node, which is
that.
like
that was
the
good.
captain.
Kudos. Sentinel.
I did.
Good.
Thank you. Sentinel lymph node. Well, because he's like the captain, so the sentinel, So like they check that and they pull a couple other ones out, and if those don't show any signs of cancer, then it hasn't spread. So like if the sentinel's good and those other couple are good, then you're fine, and it hasn't spread anywhere else. And then you get your oncotype, which mine was 11. It's 0 to 100.
You just had to warm up a little bit. Yeah.
Well, that other one was like 12 years ago, so like I can't remember that, but anyway. Oncotype 11, so it was like from a 0 to 100 score, and mine was 11, so that that's all good.
These numbers, even for you. I remember
like,
them.
Right. Dr. Cash, who is my oncologist, is like he's a numbers guy, which I appreciate too. He's like, look at this chart, look at this number, good. It's like he's on top of all of that stuff. So I don't know. And then now it's just like the maintenance of it. Like I take tamoxifen every day.
Yeah.
For 5 years at least, and I think it's just a check-in at 5 years, and I don't know what happens from there, but that's been kind of funky on my body with little things too, and it's just like, so it's like I didn't have to do radiation, I didn't have to do chemo, your traditional, cancer stuff, but like having that major surgery and then, having to maintain the medication things after that. I don't know.
There's so many things and choices that you can't even play out or manifest or try to get yourself in that space. I mean, taking this tamoxifen, for example, right? In February of 24 or January when you were diagnosed, there was no follow-up thought about, okay, well, then the follow-up is like, here's all the options, here's what's going to happen. You almost have to make decisions after you make choices that are you can't undo them, right? So tamoxifen is part of this. It is what it is, but it's another thing to have to accept. Like, okay, so it puts me in menopause early. It now will bring about
he said it didn't. Like, he said it won't, you know what I mean? Put you in menopause early, right? But there are things that happen that, like, you can tell.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but I may also be in perimenopause on my own. I don't know.
Right.
But, like, this isn't helping.
No.
So it's, like, one of those kinds of things. It was like I was, how old? I was 38 when I had cancer, and now I'm going to be 40. And it's like, so I've had to do all that, plus go through with the tamoxifen and the side effects of that, which can give you the hot flashes and the night sweats and the, all the other fun things that go along with that. But I haven't had any of that, but it can happen. So he says it doesn't put you into menopause, but it's like, but it has all the symptoms of putting you into menopause. That's all. I'm just saying it was just an interesting distinction, though. Like, here's the side effects, but it doesn't do this. But I'm like, but that's everything that would be for menopause.
But to have that now and have it be presented with that option, because you were given the choice to not have to take it. Like, you could either do not tamoxifen.
Yeah, well, this was before I got my oncotype, and I could go get these injections. There were some kind of injections that I'd have to go every month. Like, I'd have to go to the hospital to get this injection every month. But I think that was going to be if my oncotype was either higher, or because my cancer was my HER2 was negative, and it was progesterone and estrogen.
Yes.
So that helped.
Right.
So it was all that combination of things helped.
But none of...
Plus some other kind of number, my KS1 or something number was at 5%, and 5% was low. That one was like the possibility of it spreading was low. Anyway.
But in January, when you were given all these choices, the first choice was like the immediate, I have to drill down on this. Am I going to do a double mastectomy, or am I going to do lumpectomy, or am I going to, have the implants or whatever, right? So there's all these things. No one's going to sit there and talk to you about tamoxifen, which also is affecting your life. But no one's going to sit there at that moment. And should they? I don't know. And I think maybe we actually do like health part 2. I think that should be we should probably maybe have another episode, because I have so many things to drill down on too.
Yes, I think so too. I know, and I kind of dominated this one, sorry.
And I think there's even more to talk about everything that you went through, obviously.
I pulled the cancer card.
Yeah, and I just had to sit through it because. So yeah, I guess.
I also hate that.
I guess you had cancer, so I'll just sit here.
Back to people who annoy us. People say who they pull the blank card, whatever the card. I hate that.
Oh, they actually say that, right? They're not right.
Yeah, people who say that, like, I'm going to pull the cancer card. Like, shut up. Like, no. I identify as a cancer patient. Like, no, I don't. Actually, it was like a moment in time, and I'm over it now. So move on.
I think there's more to even say about everything you went through. I think you kind of compartmentalized it a little bit and kind of,
I did. I tried to condense
impossible. But,
yeah.
And you're still dealing with the thoughts of it and the mental part of it and all that. But I lost my train of thought. But it doesn't really matter. But
to interject on that part though too, about having that, like, I've had like polyps on my cervix, and this was all before
skin cancer,
any of this
potential
skin
precursors,
biopsies, right? Biopsies or precancerous, skin biopsies. Yeah. So I mean, cancer is trying to get me from all angles. So just stay away. But because tamoxifen increases your chances of cervical cancer. So it's like kind of odd how that works. Like, it's there to help you with your breast cancer, but then it's also can increase your chances with the cervical cancer. So it's like the risk is super low. So I would say it's not much more than it would be for me, no matter what, like in my everyday life. So it doesn't outweigh the benefits of taking it, but it's still just another thing, So it's like something else I have to keep thinking about. And since I already had to deal with, polyps and stuff before, is that going to, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just, we'll see what happens.
There's so many angles we could go about drug reliance on, kind of hormones. There's so many angles we can go with that, which that was part of kind of my talk about, the current events going on, plus, so we could just leave it where it is. But the choices that you have to make with that, and the side effects versus the this and the that, and altering your body. There's so many angles we can go with that.
Well, and I had to go off of birth control because of this, because it was actually feeding my cancer. Right. So, going off of birth control, which is all hormone related, and I was on a really low dose anyway. And so I don't think it necessarily affected much. I couldn't tell, which was good. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't tell if it made a difference. Maybe it did. I'm not sure. But that's another thing too. So I had to go off of that. And then now I'm on this, so that, your body's kind of going through that, plus the physical trauma of your body recovering, from that kind of a surgery too, which is, it's crazy. I don't know.
Well, and it probably, in a philosophical sense, probably makes you think a lot about, being a woman and what it means to be a woman and all the strange dynamic of gender. And I can't speak for it, but I'm just trying to throw out general directions it could go where you're considering purposeful.
Right. Well, and I mean, there's a small percentage of men that get breast cancer, because it's just tissue at the end of the day. It's just, obviously women are more susceptible because they have more tissue where that is, and more things going on in there.
Right.
But because mine was ductal, so like those ducts aren't there for men. So like I have those duct tape. It's the same. Not the duck, like the quack. It's the ducks. The ducks.
I struggle with that word, the ducks. Not that I say it there very often, but
Yeah, no, it's not something I say every day. But I'm just saying, like, where mine was coming from that. Like, it was invasive from the duct, so it was coming from there, spreading out of that. So, and just throwing the word invasive in there, they said obviously that means it could rapidly spread. Which, from the time of biopsy to the time of surgery, which was a little over a month from biopsy to surgery, it had grown already.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, so the measurement, they said the measurements could be a little off. I mean, it's millimeters. We're talking tiny. but
But
it had gone
still
from
had
like,
found a home.
yep, and was
Yeah.
growing. Again, like I said, no symptoms, no nothing. It's just wild that can even happen to your body and you don't even know that it's
Yep.
going on. So go get your stuff done.
Get
is
your
what
stuff
I'm saying
done.
to everybody. Go
All
ahead
your
and
stuff.
get all your preventatives. Get all your parts checked all the
Yep.
time.
So I think we transition to health part 2 with any other thoughts that you had, obviously, about this. But my thoughts were like about identifying health issues, wherever health, mental, emotional, physical. Okay, so how do I identify? So I have a whole thing about that.
Yeah.
Types, obviously, we kind of covered that, and where to kind of put your attention when you have certain things that are minor, major, consuming or not. The response, so that relates to like the caregivers and the information given and how the information is delivered and how much you can process, how much you can't, how much support you need, that kind of stuff. And then the regeneration, which one thing that I put at the end, which is so funny. But
Yeah.
starfish was kind of my conclusion part.
Starfish. For
So,
sure.
Yeah. So I think we do this again.
Yeah, I think so too. Next time we'll do. Sorry, and you can talk about all
Don't
your health.
apologize. Yeah, I really feel like I don't feel seen.
I know.
Fine.
Today your role was to be the caregiver listener.
This is my friend, family
You
member,
were the
residual health
you were the
concerns.
response team. The I know.
That was major, obviously. And then, months later, Mom passed away, and I think so. I forget who said this, but it was callous at the time, but I think they meant well. Was about
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
that,
Go ahead.
It was almost like she was meant to be there for you for that moment. And I was like, but you know what? Her whole life didn't culminate in that moment. But I do.
It still makes me mad.
Yeah, I do
ahead.
appreciate. I mean, I really do like however life's events played out. That I do think that she was intended to be there for you, obviously, because she was.
But she would have been whether she was gonna die or not.
Yeah, it's like, well, you got to see.
And
that
this
through.
is the
I can't
thing,
remember-
like-
you can tell me when we're not recording.
I
forget who
think
that was, but
No, I don't. Actually, I don't remember, but I think about it every once in a while. I think it was one of Dad's cousins, but I think back to it, and I think of them telling me that, and I'm thinking, like, really? Like, you want to tell me that my mom was suffering through something just to protect me, then pass away 2 months later? Like, no.
there was
like,
so much. There's too many.
no.
Yeah, there's too much.
I could not, and I was like, I'm like, how dare you put that on me?
Put
was
it on
my
you.
thought.
And that her obviously much of her world revolved around us and Dad and family and things like that. I get that. That was a big, obviously, priority.
Right.
But right.
And she would have put that first no matter what. Like that
Yeah,
wasn't
it wasn't her life's work.
that wasn't
coming
the thing.
to a head.
I'm
there.
like,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I was like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Like you think that? Oh man, yeah, that still burns my britches.
Gets my gourd.
Oh, but it really does. It really does because but I will also say though it kind of goes to the fact that Mom wasn't the person that went and got her doctor's appointments and checkups
Yeah.
and all that stuff
Yeah.
too. So it's like I don't know if I did that because she never
Yeah.
did it. Like it was kind of like, well, she never went to it, but I'm gonna do this. Or if I've got more of Dad in me, like doctor shopping. Dad loves the doctor, so like maybe it's more like that. I don't know, but like that plays in the back of my head too. It's just like
I think me, you, and Dad are very
Obviously,
good at doing the preventative as much as we can.
the preventative,
And
Right,
she made
right.
sure of that. I mean, she was adamant about
which is the irony.
all of us
Yeah,
making
Yeah.
sure, like, really, you have to
everybody
go.
was
You
on top of their
dentist
stuff.
every 6 months, and of course you need to go do this. And yes, you can just plow through and figure it out, and
Yep. You're right. I mean, it was always.
And she fully
always,
supported you
always
doing
pushing all of
the
us to
choice
do
that you made, which was significant. But yeah, if that's what you got to do, you do it. There's no choice. Like it was just very matter of fact.
Well, she just sat there with, again, she was at all my appointments and everything with me too. Not like she wouldn't have been otherwise, but she was. And that part I will say too, because obviously I have to keep following up with Dr. Cash like thank goodness every 6 months. It was every 3 months there for a little bit, and then now 6 months. But she's not there this. Like I have to
Yeah.
go by myself now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just
I
that's the
know.
kind of weird part
I
too.
know.
Is like starting
Yeah.
that, and then now it's still part of what I have
Yeah.
to do. But it's just that part's been kind of interesting too. Like
Yeah, I mean,
with the CT scans and all the other stuff I have to follow up.
yep, yeah, I know.
when you went with me to one CT scan, you happened to be here for that. So
Yeah, and I was obviously happy.
I got
to do
another one
that.
in December if you want a vacation for a CT
I
scan.
might need it, given all the things going on. That might be a nice outlet.
Yeah, if you want to come
Yeah.
take a break, come sit with me
Yeah,
at a
yeah,
CT
yeah.
scan.
That might be good. Just what I needed.
Yep, just what I needed. Anyway, all right, yes, your turn next.
Oh.
I'll label this one Alan's health, and then yours will be Adrian's
No,
health.
we don't have to. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
No, I
think
know.
it's
It just
appropriate,
happened to
and
be
it
that way.
It should
So
be.
yeah,
It's not uncommon.
It's cancer.
It's not uncommon that this happens. I mean, unfortunately, and I bet you a lot of people can relate.
right. Well, and then I'm hoping they can't, but maybe it'll spark some. Go get your stuff taken
Yeah.
care of.
Agreed.
That's all. Always. You never know.
Agreed.
You never know. Because I'm healthy otherwise. Like that was the other thing too. Is like I'm healthy otherwise. Like I'm a healthy person, and boom,
Yep.
got
Yep.
cancer. All right.
All right.
Well, it's been fun. I'd like to say it's been real fun, but
Real fun. We still found a way to laugh, which is always
We did.
the case, but
we did.
I have to find the music point, so edit this out.
I know every time.
Well, I'm close.
Every
I'm
episode.
close to it. Well, it's hard for me to go back exactly.
And I have to
that
share.
moment.
I know, and I got to share the screen anyway.
Imagine.
All right. Until
Until
next
next
time.
time.
Don't believe me, just pulling up me and my friends. Big boy spins, just might start up a trend. You don't wanna go up against, no offense. Might wanna check on your lens. They know when this drop, everyone stop. Ain't no more room on top. This one can't be blocked. Give me my props. I'm really like that. Don't believe me, just watch.
Deuces.
Deuces.